Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you is a beautiful young lady. I'm not exactly sure as to who she is, but I can tell you that she was on a radio show recently, and she made a pretty bold claim. And that claim had to do with the N-word. And she asserts that the reason that Latinos and Asian women say nigga because they are dating black men who allow them to. Now that's a pretty interesting statement. But before I go on, I want you to hear it from her.
So what niggas don't want to hear is that it's really like these niggas out here fucking these girls. Like, y'all out here fucking these Latino women and y'all out here fucking these Asian women. And because they taking black dick, now they feel like they can say it.
So you think that's why they saying nigga?
Somebody somewhere is giving them enough like validation that they feel like they can say this shit. And I know who it's not. Us.
Okay, so you heard that. Now the little us, I kind of added that there for an effect and to illustrate a point. Actually, I wanted to magnify the point that I will get back to in a minute. But this is from Black Marriage, Black Demographics from 2017, which I guess is the most recent one that they did a full scale. But she had stated that, first of all, I want to talk about her tone. In her tone, she came across to me being very kind of angry, hostile, aggressive. It was almost like she used the term effing as opposed to dating, which is kind of derogatory put down way of saying, kind of a put down way. She could have said dating, but she chose not to use the term dating. So she says that black men are bonking, I'm going to say bonking, all these Latina and Asian women. But I have this stat from Black Demographics taken into 2017, and it says right here, who black men married. It says that 85% of black men had a married wife. We're talking about black men now. And by the way, there's another stat that says that only 12% of black men out of marriage who are not married, those who are not married are with an other. So therefore, the vast majority of black men in and out of marriage are with black women. So it says right here, black interracial marriage. Let's look at this because this is going to be very interesting because according to her, black men are bonking all these Latina and Asian women and giving them permission to use the N-word. Now, how can that be true when the vast majority of black men are married to white women? They're not married to Hispanic women. They're not married to Asian women. You have 409,000 black men married to white women. When it comes to Hispanic, you have 162,000. When it comes to other, that's 130,000. So therefore, the vast majority of black men are not with Hispanic or Asian women. See, the problem with her type of thinking is that she's thinking with emotions. She allowed her emotions to get the better of her. And when you do that, you are devoid of logic, reasoning, and common sense. If she would have debated me, I really would have tore her apart. But, I'm only saying that because she doesn't really know stats. She's an emotional thinker. And what she's doing is that she is collectively grouping all black men together with the few that she may have seen with women who are Latino and Asian. And collective thinking is very, I wouldn't say dangerous. I would just say it's disingenuous. It could be very troubling because it can set a lot of women towards the road of bitterness, anger, and hostility towards black men, which is what she's displaying. There's no need to have that type of hostility directed towards Latino women. It really isn't, or Asian women, because it's just not true. But she's so blinded by her own bitterness, anger, that she can't see it, or she didn't bother to look into it. Sometimes people get trapped into their world, their area, their place as to where they live, and think that's the whole world. But there's a whole big America out there. And one strange thing about her is that she's too beautiful to be so hostile, to be so angry, to be so triggered. She's one of these types of black women who don't even need to date out. If she really wanted a black man, she can have plenty, all types, coming after her. Because of the beautiful visual specimen that she is. So her anger and hostility and being triggered is for nothing. It really is. But that's what happens when you start to go there. And I hope to God that she doesn't have a YouTube channel. That's truly the last thing that we in the black community needs is another angry, another hostile black woman who's going to look at black men as their enemies, who's going to lead by emotions and feelings rather than the actual truth. Now I want to focus on the us part that she stated.
Us.
So you heard her say us. So she was saying that the us was black women, that it was not black women who were causing or influencing these Latina or Asian women to use the N-word. She's putting the blame solely on black men who are supposedly bonking all of these Latina and Asian women, which I just shown that that's not true. But she believes that. But I want to ask you something. These women have access. Actually, let me go back and put it this way. Millions upon millions of Latina and Asian women have access to a group of people. And what group of people who they have access to, who is going to be the most influential, who is going to teach them through joy, to harmonize, to sing along, to speak along, to rap along. Here's your answer. Not black men. The influence that the majority of these women and people across the globe are getting from and who are using that particular word is coming from the female gender. See, she put the blame totally where it does not belong. Because ghetto girls like that, not her, but the ones who are going to be, the ghetto ones who are going to be dating a certain type of black man are already going to be using that particular word. But I'm going to bet that from the age of 7, 8, 9, they heard these rappers uttering that word. And even from girls who just want to be cool, they can come from a higher socioeconomic background. They heard these female rappers uttering that word. This is where the greatest influence is coming from. It is not coming from black men. These women right here are more influential to black men out there. They have influence over millions upon millions of Latina and Asian girls. I'm not leaving out any other black girls or anything like that, but we're talking about at the moment Asian and Latina girls who use the N-word. We had a female on a radio talk show putting the blame off on black men when that's not possible. That couldn't be the case right there because they don't have the greatest influence. Vast majority of black men are not bonking Latina and Asian women. These rappers right here have a much more greater influence. All of these women right here constantly, continually, happily use the N-word. These young females are going to sing and hum along, rap along with that word in it. They're thinking that because their idols use that word, it's okay for them to use it. This is where they're getting it from, the majority of them. I don't believe that black men who even date Latino or Asian women are even encouraging them to use that word. No, she definitely put the blame in the wrong place. Like too many black women do. They want to blame the black men for everything. She erroneously blamed them for these Latina and Asian women using the N-word. That's not true. She erroneously stated that so many of these black men are boinking Asian and Latina women. That's not true. Some are. Vast majority are not. But this is the reason why they're using the N-word right here. The vast majority. Because they're idols. They're stars. People who they admire. People who they follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. These women constantly use that word. This is their influence right there. Nicki Minaj has been around for how many years? Over a decade now. Little Kim goes back nearly 20 years. But yet it's black men. But you know, I'm not really surprised. Because this type of hatred or wanting to blame black men for everything is out there. But this case right here, she's been proven wrong. Yes, she's wrong. So, no, this is just one blame that we're not going to take. But if she wants to believe that, she can. I believe that she's going to believe what she wants to believe, regardless if the truth is put right in front of her. But let me just tell you one thing with that. That's her bitterness, her anger, her hostility, her cross to bear. She wants to be triggered by that. Unfortunately, we just have to let it be. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that was another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you beyond and through.